Mr. Daniel, you are CEO of firearm manufacturer Daniel Defense. This photograph is from an advertisement featured for your company. This is featured prominently in your advertisement, that tattoo. You've indicated that you don't know what it is, but Ms. Sampson, as an expert in this area, can you briefly tell us what that tattoo is?
That's a Valknot, and it's a symbol that has been increasingly embraced by white supremacists.
Right there from January 6th, you can see the Valknot right there on this gentleman's chest. Mr. Daniel, yes or no, are you aware that your advertising department uses imagery affiliated with white supremacist movements in its marketing materials?
No, ma'am, I don't think we do.
Reclaiming my time, thank you.
No, I don't know anything about that. Like, we just put things in there, and who knows? Maybe there's like double lightning bolts or numbers that are references to Nazis. I don't know anything about that. I'm just trying to make money. And honestly, AOC, back off this guy. He's just trying to make money off of the rampant slaughter of innocent people, including children. And here you are being a major buzzkill when he's trying to get rich as more and more people die. It's very gauche, I think. But she's new to the Congress. She'll learn how to be more respectful, I guess. Anyway, the guy tried to deny he didn't know that it was their ad. Like, yeah, it's your ad, dude. And there's a reason that we're so frustrated specifically with that company. I mean, many of them, but that guy, like, he made the gun. His company made the gun that was used in the Uvalde mass shooting. If I were him, you'd not be able to get me out of my bed. I would just be so catatonic with the gravity of what I had done, what I had participated in by making a thing that not only could kill so many kids, but that a potential mass shooter would want my gun, that he would look at my company and my ads and think, yeah, that's what I want. I want to hold one of those as I slaughter tons and tons of little kids. I would not be going to Congress and getting combative with AOC or with others. And by the way, we've got other horrible advertising, I would say even worse, that we're gonna get to in a minute. But Sabrina, what did you make of that?
I think he's either so ignorant and so uninvolved with his own company that there's a tiny possibility that he wasn't aware of his ad, or he was aware of it and he's totally fine with it. Both of which are very bad, irresponsible things. I'm sure he is aware though that, I feel like a lot of mass shootings seem to be done by male white supremacists, and to ignore that exists within his own company is just disgustingly irresponsible.
Yeah, 100%. And we can ponder. Did they have the guy in the ad because they wanted to sneak some of that iconography in there, or did they have the guy in the ad because the only sort of people they could get to model in this are people that, well, how are you supposed to get one that doesn't have one of these symbols on them? I don't know. Probably the former, but both are really, really bad. And look, some are gonna try to pretend that this is unfair to imply that they're trying to target these people, but wouldn't you? If you had a fiduciary responsibility to maximize profits and you knew that there was a hardcore, in all the worst ways, potential audience for your products, why wouldn't you try to appeal to them? They're not trying to get like Santa Monica libs to buy their guns. They're not like putting the imprints of avocados on them or something. They're trying to get the crazies who really want a lot of guns. And if that example was not explicit enough for you, let's take a look at what AOC is gonna reveal in this clip.
As a member of the foundation that you're in, right here, Palmetto State Armory has used imagery clearly designed to appeal to the FBI-identified far-right domestic terror threat, boogaloo boys, with products such as this AK-47 style pistol designed in the same floral pattern that is often used by these group members to identify one another. Mr. Killoy, as a board member of the NSSF, do you condemn marketing firearms to identified extremist groups such as the Proud Boys or Oath Keepers or Boogaloo Boys? Yes or no, do you condemn your industry explicitly marketing materials to domestic terror threats?
Congresswoman, the National Shooting Sports Foundation does not control individual member companies.
But this is a member of your foundation, Mr. Killoy.
I take exception to the fact that I can assure you we do not tolerate racism or white supremacy.
Do you condemn marketing these materials? Do you condemn marketing these materials to Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, or Boogaloo Boys? That's all, Madam Chair. It's just a yes or no.
Congresswoman,
answer the question.
I didn't know that was. I'd never seen that ad before, and I didn't realize that's what it was tied to. And I'm not an expert in that field.
So you don't have an answer.
Yeah, but you see how that's not really an answer. You weren't familiar with it. You're not an expert. Now you're familiar with it. You've seen it. You're not an expert. Well, we just explained it to you. So they're good. We're caught up now. What do you think about this? Was this a good thing? No. Don't back off and say I'm not responsible for it. We're not saying you're responsible for it. You didn't greenlight it, but you are on foundation boards with people who are. You can't necessarily control it. We're not saying that. We're just getting you to pass the minimum bar to say, yes, intentionally trying to get the Boogaloo Boys to like your weapons of war more than other companies is not necessarily a good thing. Marketing it to people who have shown a predisposition to use it to try to start race wars in America in the last couple of years maybe isn't a great thing. And again, it ain't your gun. It ain't your company's gun. We're not saying that. We understand that. But you can take a minimal stance that no, trying to appeal specifically to the worst white supremacist, neo-Nazi, fascist groups in America is probably not a good thing. And look, he's never gonna admit that. He doesn't have the balls to. He's far too much of a coward. But at least we have AOC who's willing to put him on the spot about it. And that's about as good as we're gonna get right now.
That should have been a home run for him at the very least, where she just asked, like, do you condemn? Like you said, she's not asking like, hey, are you responsible or were you aware at this point? At this point, she filled him in and she's like, do you condemn it? It's just an opinion at this point. And he still couldn't give it because it might hurt sales or something. That's capitalism, baby. Gun sales go up whenever there's mass shootings, unfortunately. So to market it in its like aesthetic design to the Boogaloo Boys, they know exactly what they're doing. They're fine with it. Mass shootings are good for business.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.